Patrick was taken from his home. We're going to be in our homes, as all of us are today. And we're going to be there for a while. So let's make the most of it. Also on this day in 1968, one of the most famous musical groups of all time debuted on the Ed Sullivan Show. One of the songs they performed, Love Somebody. Maybe if parents are listening in, they'll know it was the Bee Gees. I had a whole talk about the Bee Gees today. I'd even incorporated some of their songs like, I've Got to Get a Message to You. How ironic. Lonely Days. And they even had a song called Massachusetts. And then I wondered about the tone, the perception, the optics, and the circumstances. These days, we are thinking more and more about all that. Even as you're watching online, know that this is being recorded, right? So that the way we interact with each other is a bit different. And we can no longer rely on face-to-face communication. Our virtual communication, text, email, and even video, lacks the subtleties and nuances of authentic human expression, and so we have to be careful. And so, apologies for all the Dunkin' Donuts gift card loving people, but the Bee Gees will have to wait. So let me just walk through a little bit about what's happening in our world and what's happening here at Fenwick. First, these are really unprecedented times, right? The rapid spread of a highly contagious virus, the even more rapid spread of facts and data, and also of rumors and gossip. And the intensification, really the unprecedented rapid intensification of our response to the coronavirus, to what the international community is doing in regard to COVID-19. We're trying to get ahead of it, but it's really impossible. And you see that at the local, state, and federal level. I thought Charlie Baker's remark on Sunday night, someone said, well, how fast is this changing? And he said, well, 10 days ago, I got my hair cut to support cancer research. That feels like 100 years ago. What's happening within us when we look at this coronavirus? First of all, we have to know that it affects each of us differently, uniquely, and personally. There are parents now of young children who are home. There are parents of college students who are now home. And the parents in our own Fenwick community, certainly affected by this unique moment in our history. There's also, for many of us, concerns for our grandparents and anyone with compromised immune systems or complicating health issues. Friends, neighbors, loved ones. They could be in healthcare or in essential jobs. They could be in impacted countries or in jobs where the response of the country is really impacting them. For most of us, let the record show, this is just about staying healthy. For those of you students of Fenwick, odds are if you were to get the coronavirus in a couple of weeks, you're going to feel fine. But it's not really just about you. It's about everyone else. For us who are healthy, it's staying healthy. For many others, it's about a lot more. So each of us has our own experience. Let's be aware of that. How about the current status of life here at Fenwick? People want to know what's really happening. So starting Saturday morning and throughout the weekend, we had a thorough deep clean of our entire building. It's really helpful and really safe for us here at Fenwick. How about the cases of COVID-19? As I've shared with you before, one part-time faculty member completed a self-imposed 14-day quarantine and was able to return to Fenwick. One student is currently completing a 14-day quarantine because a member of that household had traveled to an affected country. Since I've talked to you recently, 2 other members of our faculty and staff and extended Fenwick family are experiencing a 14-day quarantine. One associated with a construction project. He had been in a place that was affected by the coronavirus. And the other, someone who is a household member who perhaps has a presumed case of the coronavirus, although recently they think it's the flu. Neither of these individuals had contact with our students. Very important for us to understand that. This is not the time, I remind everyone here, especially as we communicate online, for speculation, conjecture, rumor, or gossip. First of all, the HIPAA regulations prohibit any of us from talking about someone else's medical condition or health care. We can't do it. And second, our own character, our own integrity call us to a higher standard. So our response and our responsibility to COVID-19, please know, everyone in our Fenwick community, the campus is officially closed. That means our fields as well. We are allowing faculty and staff to come, especially if they need to use some of the technology here, but students should not be on campus. And as a reminder, the president ordered that gatherings of 10 or more ought to cease. And for you young people in high school, I know how much you want to get together and connect with each other. And that I would remind you, be mindful of what the president has said and what all the healthcare experts are telling us. Limit face-to-face interaction as much as possible. Okay, communication. Later today, we will have a separate coronavirus page on our website that will give you all the communications that we've sent in the past. We'll have links to various academic programs and online tools that will allow us to continually monitor the situation. So, have my Fenwick brain front and center. Check your email multiple times throughout the day. That's students, parents, faculty, and staff. At a time when all of our communication is online, we really can't say that we're offline. And students especially, use your Fenwick email to check updates and use your Fenwick email to send assignments. That's really essential as we go forward. And if you have any particular concern about your own health, we ask you to contact our nurse, Ms. Faraci, directly so that she can guide you through the next steps of the process. What's our immediate focus this morning? 3 weeks. 3 weeks. Wednesday, March 17th to Tuesday, April 7th. And our goals are simple. There's 2 of them. 2 goals. Everything we do is structured around those 2 goals. First, normalcy. Normalcy, right? We want to have a rhythm and routine as much as possible. We want to deliver something that's consistent each and every day. Second, engagement, activity, productivity, real learning. We don't want anybody to stop right now. I'll get back to that at the end. Stopping is not good, especially for our students. And we know that you students need connection. That's why so many of you joined the meeting early in various states of dress and are still trying to connect via the chat. Don't stop. Don't stop learning. It's a defining moment for our school. You know, we want to show how we're different, how we can be responsive, how we can continue the learning process, how we can move education forward, and we will. And let the record show this is not just about the education. There's a social component to this and a relational component to this, even if it is virtual. We have to remind ourselves of how we relate with each other virtually, but it is important that we do relate with each other virtually. We know you young people want to feel connected, and so do we. Ms. Marquez will be sending a separate email out later today that details all the items I'm sharing with you going forward. So here they are. As we launch our online learning, let's be aware that there will be an unevenness to it. Let me say that again. As we launch this online learning platform, there will be an unevenness to it. This is uncharted territory. The level of engagement, motivation, commitment of you young people, the expertise, approach, and comfort level of our amazingly dedicated faculty and staff, the support and interest and investment of families at home, the limits of technology, and the layers of ongoing response are all going to impact how our online platform goes. We're going to do our best. We ask you to do your best. And I'm reminded, I think it was Leo in our freshman class shared with me a piece of advice a few months ago. I can't change the direction of the wind, but I can adjust my sails to always reach my destination. We're adjusting our sails. Do you have questions? Absolutely. Like what happens after April 7th? Marking periods, AP tests, senior service, graduation. I wish I could tell you. We don't know. We're exploring a number of options. I can tell you a little bit this morning. One consideration for grading, for example, is to make one semester 2 grade, rather than try to separate the 3rd and the 4th quarter and generate report cards at this difficult time of transition. We believe, for example, that the junior prom scheduled for Wednesday, May 8th will likely be canceled. And we're already talking to the host and the venue about that eventuality. We know that the SAT and ACT have already postponed or canceled some test administrations. and that the AP through the College Board is looking at what's going to happen in the spring. And we know that yesterday, of course, for all of our spring athletes, the spring season, according to the MIAA, will not begin now until April 27th. We hope to return healthy, happy, and ready to resume on April 7th. And we don't know if that will happen. I want to express my gratitude to Ms. Marquez, Mr. Grocki, Mr. Driscoll, Ms. Vigneron, Mr. Woods, Mr. Eck, and Mr. Von Jess, our executive team, our department chairs and faculty members who came together yesterday in an amazing day, both online and in person, to talk about this plan moving forward. And special thanks to our nurse, Jen Faraji, and our director of technology, Mr. Chris Russell, without whom we could not be doing what we're doing. So here's the plan, ladies and gentlemen. Our online platform begins tomorrow. There will be a 5-day schedule, and the first 4 days are very simple. Wednesdays, English and modern language. Thursdays, social studies and theology. Fridays, science. Mondays, math, and a few of the social studies that couldn't happen on Thursday. Then on Tuesdays, we will follow an altered A-day schedule where all 8 periods meet. So Tuesday is a day when all of your classes will be in session online. This allows for 2 meetings with each teacher every week at minimum. They're all done via Zoom, which is what we're using now, and the links to those Zoom meetings for all of you students will appear in your class calendar and final site. So go to your class calendar and final site. Later today, you'll start to see those meetings appear for your individual courses. Of course, the faculty want to remind you, they wanted me to say this clearly, that they're going to continue to use Final Site, Dropbox, Kahoot, and all the other technologies that they use to keep you engaged in the learning process. The Endicott students will be hearing from Mr. Grocki, and the most important thing is check your Fenwick email, right? Check your Fenwick email. The keys to success: use your Fenwick email account for all interactions. And if you want some rhythm and routine and perhaps a little information and inspiration rather, every Monday morning at 8 a.m., we'll have an all-school meeting just like this. An opening prayer, some announcements, and maybe a quote of the day or something to get you started. I'll send a link to that out later today. Young women and men of Fenwick, be your best self. Be your best self, and that means online as well. We hope you connect with each other. Really, we do. We hope you use all these platforms to keep the dialogue and the conversation and the banter going throughout these days when you're stuck at home. We absolutely do. And we want to remind you that it is different and it can be recorded. So let's just be smart and let's be your best people. Finally, take advantage of the resources that are offered. So we'll put those online, and I'll just share 3 right now. Our learning specialist, Ms. Good, is going to have office hours. All of our college and guidance counselors are going to have times when you can log in to have a one-on-one meeting with them. And Mr. Russell and our technology team are putting together a help desk to help you navigate the challenges of using technology upon which we're so reliant. Make sense? I hope so. That schedule will be online shortly. And again, please check the website for further updates. So to conclude, I wish I had my Dunkin' Donuts gift cards. On this day in 1905, this influential scientist published his groundbreaking paper on the quantum theory of light, one of the foundations of modern physics. I know Father Michele, who's tuning in, would raise his hand and say, yes, Albert Einstein. A few quotes from Dr. Einstein before we go. When the solution is simple, God is answering. It's hard if you're home, but let's try to appreciate the simplicity of being at home and the time with family. It's a rare gift. Einstein said, imagination is more important than knowledge. Knowledge is limited. Imagination encircles the world. Let's use our imaginations during this time. Let's not close ourselves off to possibilities of growing and learning and discovering. Let's make the most of it. Anyone who has never made a mistake has never tried anything new. Let's not worry about making mistakes. I made one this morning by allowing people to join the meeting before it actually started. I had a number of text messages from my colleagues on the faculty saying, you should see what's happening. I learned. I learned because I wasn't afraid to make a mistake. There are only two ways to live your life, said Einstein. One is as though nothing is a miracle. The other is though everything is a miracle. There are miracles happening in our midst, especially in the company that we share. Let's be attentive to them. And finally, life is like riding a bicycle. To keep your balance, you need to keep moving. That's so true today. Let's keep moving, engaging, investing, communicating, teaching, learning. In times of such uncertainty, I'm certain of this, the best way to keep our balance is to keep moving. I say goodbye with St. Patrick, who apparently said, never trust a dog to watch your food. But I'll say something a little more serious from words that are attributed to his prayer. May the strength of God pilot us, the wisdom of God instruct us, the hand of God protect us, and the word of God direct us. Blessings to you. Take care and be safe. Talk to you soon.